Your brain processes over 60,000 thoughts every single day, and most of them are happening right when you're trying to fall asleep. Tonight, that ends. What I'm about to share with you isn't another meditation app recommendation or breathing technique you've heard 1,000 times before. This is a counterintuitive night ritual that neuroscientists are calling the mental reset button. And it works by doing the exact opposite of what every sleep expert tells you to do. Instead of trying to quiet your mind, you're going to deliberately amplify it for exactly 7 minutes, then watch as your thoughts naturally organize themselves like iron filings around a magnet. The reason your mind feels cluttered isn't because you think too much. It's because your thoughts are stuck in what researchers call cognitive loops, repeating the same patterns over and over without resolution. But there's a biological switch in your brain that can break these loops instantly. And once you know how to flip it, you'll experience the kind of mental clarity that most people only dream about. This ritual takes less than 10 minutes, requires nothing but your attention, and by tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with a mind so clear and focused that you'll wonder how you ever functioned without it. Part 1. The mental inventory dump. There's something happening in your bedroom every night that's stealing your peace of mind, and it has nothing to do with your mattress or room temperature. Your thoughts are literally bouncing around your skull like ping pong balls in a washing machine, and the harder you try to stop them, the louder they get. But what if I told you that the solution isn't to silence these thoughts at all, but to give them exactly what they've been desperately asking for all along? Most people think the key to mental clarity is meditation or deep breathing, but those are just band-aids on a bullet wound. Your cluttered mind isn't asking to be quieted, it's asking to be heard. Every racing thought, every worry, every random idea that pops up when your head hits the pillow exists because your brain has something important to tell you, and it won't shut up until you listen. Here's what no sleep expert will tell you about your restless mind. Your thoughts aren't the enemy, they're actually your brain's way of trying to organize itself. But here's the problem. When you keep these thoughts trapped inside your head, they just keep circling like water going down a drain that's clogged. They never actually go anywhere, they just spin faster and faster until you feel like your mind is about to explode. Scientists have discovered something fascinating about how our brains process information. When we think silently, we're only using a fraction of our neural pathways. But when we speak our thoughts out loud, something magical happens. Different parts of our brain start working together in ways that create instant organization and clarity. It's like the difference between trying to untangle Christmas lights in a dark room versus doing it in bright sunlight with both hands free. The first technique that's going to transform your nights forever is something I call the mental inventory dump. And it's technique number 1 out of 7 life-changing methods you're about to learn. This isn't journaling, this isn't talking to yourself in the mirror, and it definitely isn't anything you've tried before. You're going to speak every single thought in your head to an empty chair for exactly 3 minutes. And treat that chair like it's your personal mental assistant who's taking detailed notes of everything you say. Here's why this works when nothing else has. When you verbalize your thoughts to another presence, even an imaginary one, your brain automatically starts organizing and prioritizing information before it leaves your mouth. You literally cannot speak as fast as you think. So your mind is forced to slow down and choose what's actually important. The chair becomes a container for all the mental clutter that's been bouncing around your head, and once those thoughts leave your mouth, they stop circling in your mind. Part 2. The reverse worry technique. You're about to discover why every piece of advice you've ever heard about dealing with worry has been completely backwards, and why the solution is so counterintuitive that most people accidentally stumble into anxiety instead of peace. The conventional wisdom tells you to think positive thoughts, practice gratitude, or distract yourself when worry strikes. But what if I told you that fighting your worries is exactly what makes them stronger, and the real secret is to do something that sounds absolutely crazy at first? Every night, millions of people lie in bed trying to push away their biggest fears and concerns. They close their eyes tight, take deep breaths, and try to think about anything else. But here's what's really happening in their brains during this process. When you try to suppress a worry, you're essentially telling your mind that this thought is so dangerous and powerful that it needs to be constantly monitored. Your brain interprets this as a threat, which makes it focus even more attention on the very thing you're trying to forget. There's a psychological principle that explains exactly why your worst fears seem to grow stronger in the dark. Your brain has something called a negativity bias, which means it's naturally wired to focus on potential threats and problems. This was useful when we were cave people avoiding saber-toothed tigers, but in modern life, it just means your mind spends way too much energy worrying about things that will probably never happen. But neuroscientists have discovered something incredible about how our brains process fear and anxiety. When you deliberately imagine the worst-case scenario of something you're worried about, and then mentally project yourself into the future to see how you survived and moved on, something remarkable happens. Your brain realizes that even in the absolute worst case, you're still okay. This breaks the power that worry has over you, because you've already mentally survived your biggest fear. The second technique that's going to set your mind free tonight is called the reverse worry technique, and it's method number 2 out of the 7 powerful strategies you're learning. Instead of trying to avoid your biggest worry, you're going to deliberately dive headfirst into imagining the absolute worst thing that could happen. Then you're going to mentally fast forward exactly 5 years into the future and see how small and insignificant this worry has become in the grand story of your life. Here's the step-by-step process that's going to transform how your brain handles anxiety forever. You're going to pick the one worry that's been keeping you up at night, and you're going to imagine it happening in the most dramatic, catastrophic way possible. Let your mind go completely wild with this. Then, you're going to imagine yourself 5 years from now, looking back on this moment and realizing how this challenge actually made you stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. Part 3. Tomorrow's Victory Visualization. There's a secret that every elite athlete, successful entrepreneur, and peak performer knows about the power of the mind. But somehow this knowledge never makes it to the people who need it most. What they understand is that your brain cannot tell the difference between something you vividly imagine and something you actually experience. This means you can literally program yourself for success while you're lying in bed, and your subconscious mind will treat it like it already happened. Most people spend their last waking moments either worrying about tomorrow or mindlessly scrolling through their phones. But what if those precious minutes before sleep could become the most powerful success tool you've ever discovered? Your brain is naturally entering a state where it's most receptive to new programming, and instead of wasting this opportunity, you're about to learn how to use it to guarantee that tomorrow becomes your best day yet. Here's something that will change how you think about visualization forever. Most people imagine their goals happening, but they imagine them happening to someone else. They see themselves succeeding, but they watch it like a movie instead of experiencing it from the inside. This is why most visualization techniques feel fake and don't create real change. Your brain needs to experience the success, not just observe it. Scientists studying peak performance have discovered that when you imagine achieving something, while focusing on the physical sensations of success, your brain creates neural pathways that are almost identical to actually doing it. This is why professional athletes who visualize their performance often improve just as much as athletes who physically practice. Your mind is essentially doing a dress rehearsal for success, and when the real moment comes, your brain already knows exactly what to do. The third breakthrough technique that's going to transform your tomorrow is called Tomorrow's Victory Visualization, and it's strategy number 3 out of 7 game-changing methods you're mastering tonight. You're going to mentally rehearse tomorrow's biggest challenge going absolutely perfectly, but here's the crucial difference that makes this technique so powerful. You're going to imagine celebrating your success in slow motion, focusing intensely on how victory feels in your body, not just what it looks like in your mind. Here's exactly how to program your subconscious for peak performance while you sleep. You're going to identify the one thing you're most nervous or excited about tomorrow, and then you're going to imagine it unfolding flawlessly. But instead of rushing through this mental movie, you're going to slow down the moment of triumph and really feel the physical sensations of success. Feel your shoulders relaxing, feel the smile spreading across your face, Feel the confidence flowing through your entire body. Your sleeping brain will spend the entire night reinforcing these neural pathways, so when tomorrow comes, success will feel natural and inevitable. Part 4. The mental filing cabinet method. Your mind has been trying to tell you something important every single night, and you've been missing the message completely. Those thoughts that keep circling in your head aren't random chaos. They're actually your brain's way of saying that it has important information that needs to be processed and organized. But here's the problem. Your conscious mind is like a computer that's trying to run too many programs at once, and it keeps freezing up because it's overwhelmed with data. Most people think the solution to mental clutter is to either ignore their thoughts or try to solve every problem before they go to sleep. But both of these approaches miss the real issue entirely. Your brain is actually designed to do its most important organizing and problem-solving work while you sleep, but only if you give it permission to do so. Right now, you're probably holding on to every thought and worry like you're personally responsible for figuring everything out before morning. There's a fascinating discovery in neuroscience that explains why some people wake up with crystal-clear solutions to problems they couldn't solve the day before. During sleep, your brain literally reorganizes information, making new connections and finding patterns that your conscious mind missed. But this only happens when you consciously release control and trust your unconscious mind to do the work it was designed to do. Here's what most people don't understand about the relationship between their conscious and unconscious minds. Your conscious mind is like the CEO of a company. It's great at making decisions and setting direction, but it's terrible at managing all the day-to-day details. Your unconscious mind is like having an entire team of brilliant specialists working behind the scenes, but they can only do their job when the CEO stops micromanaging and lets them work. The fourth revolutionary technique that's going to give you the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life is called the mental filing cabinet method, and it's technique number 4 out of 7 life-changing strategies you're learning tonight. You're going to assign each persistent thought a specific file folder in your mind. Imagine physically placing it in a locked cabinet and then mentally hand the key to your sleeping self with complete trust that everything will be organized perfectly by morning. Here's the exact process that's going to transform your relationship with your thoughts forever. You're going to imagine a beautiful, sturdy filing cabinet in your mind, and you're going to create a labeled folder for each type of thought that's been keeping you awake. Work problems go in the work folder, relationship concerns go in the relationship folder, and so on. Then you're going to imagine physically placing each folder in the cabinet, locking it securely, and handing the key to a wise, peaceful version of yourself who will sort through everything while you sleep. This simple act of mental delegation will free your conscious mind to rest while your unconscious mind does what it does best. Part 5. The Gratitude Reframe Challenge. Every self-help book and motivational speaker has told you the same thing about gratitude, and they've all been missing the most important piece of the puzzle. They tell you to think about what you're grateful for, make a list of good things in your life, or appreciate what you have. But here's what nobody talks about. This type of gratitude practice often feels fake and forced because you're trying to convince yourself to feel something you don't actually feel in the moment. Real gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring the challenges in your life. In fact, the most powerful form of gratitude happens when you can find genuine appreciation for the difficult experiences that have shaped who you are. But most people never learn how to do this because they think gratitude means being happy about everything that happens to them. There's a neurological reason why traditional gratitude practices often fall flat, and it has everything to do with how your brain processes authentic versus manufactured emotions. When you try to force yourself to feel grateful for things that don't genuinely move you, your brain recognizes this as fake and actually becomes more resistant to positive emotions. But when you discover genuine appreciation for something that initially seemed negative, your brain creates lasting neural pathways that automatically look for lessons and growth opportunities in every situation. Here's the secret that transforms ordinary gratitude into a life-changing mental superpower. Instead of trying to feel grateful for the good things in your life, you're going to find genuine appreciation for the challenging experiences that taught you something valuable. This isn't about being thankful for bad things happening. It's about recognizing the hidden gifts that come disguised as problems. The fifth breakthrough technique that's going to rewire your brain for automatic positivity is called the Gratitude Reframe Challenge, and it's method number 5 out of 7 powerful strategies you're mastering. Instead of listing what you're grateful for, you're going to identify one frustrating moment from today and find 3 specific hidden gifts within that experience. This trains your brain to automatically seek lessons and opportunities instead of dwelling on problems. Here's exactly how to turn your daily frustrations into fuel for personal growth. You're going to think about the most annoying, disappointing, or challenging thing that happened to you today. And then you're going to become a detective, looking for hidden benefits. Maybe that frustrating conversation taught you something about setting boundaries. Maybe that disappointing outcome showed you what you really want. Maybe that challenging situation revealed a strength you didn't know you had. When you consistently find genuine value in difficult experiences, your brain starts to see every challenge as an opportunity for growth, instead of a reason to worry. There's an invisible force that's been shaping every single day of your life, and most people go their entire lives without ever becoming consciously aware of it. This force determines how you feel when you wake up, how productive you are during the day, and how peaceful you feel when your head hits the pillow at night. I'm talking about your energy, and specifically, how different people, activities, and thoughts either fill up your energy tank or drain it completely. Most people stumble through life, never paying attention to what gives them energy versus what takes it away. They spend time with people who exhaust them, engage in activities that drain their soul, and think thoughts that make them feel heavy and tired. Then they wonder why they feel so overwhelmed, and why they can't seem to find the motivation to create the life they actually want. Here's something that will change how you approach every single day moving forward. Your energy is not unlimited, and it's not random. You have a finite amount of mental, emotional, and physical energy each day, and how you invest that energy determines the quality of your entire life. But most people treat their energy like it's an endless resource, saying yes to everything and everyone without considering the cost. Successful people, whether they realize it or not, are master energy managers. They instinctively gravitate toward people and activities that energize them, and they consciously limit their exposure to energy drains. This isn't selfish. It's strategic. When you protect and nurture your energy, you have more to give to the people and projects that matter most. The 6th life-changing technique that's going to transform how you spend your days is called the energy audit practice, and it's strategy number 6 out of 7 powerful methods you're learning tonight. You're going to mentally scan your entire day and identify which people, activities, and thoughts gave you energy versus which ones drained you. Then you're going to make one specific commitment for tomorrow based on this awareness. Here's the simple process that's going to help you reclaim control over your daily energy. You're going to replay your day like a movie, but instead of focusing on what happened, you're going to pay attention to how you felt during each interaction and activity. Did that conversation with your coworker leave you feeling inspired or exhausted? Did that project energize you or make you want to hide under a blanket? Did those thoughts you kept thinking make you feel powerful or powerless? Once you identify the patterns, you're going to make one concrete decision about how you'll protect your energy tomorrow. This could be setting a boundary, scheduling more time for an energizing activity, or simply becoming more conscious of your internal dialogue. Part 7. The Identity Affirmation Reset. Everything you've learned tonight has been building toward this final technique, because what I'm about to share with you has the power to change not just how you sleep, but who you become. Most people end their day by reviewing what went wrong, worrying about tomorrow, or just collapsing into unconsciousness without any intention at all. But your final moments of consciousness are actually the most powerful programming time your brain has, and you're about to learn how to use these precious minutes to literally reshape your identity. Here's something that most people never realize about how change actually happens. You don't change by trying to modify your behavior. You change by becoming a different person. Your actions are just the external expression of your internal identity, which means if you want to create lasting change in your life, you have to start by changing how you see yourself. Traditional affirmations don't work because they ask you to believe something about yourself that contradicts your current reality. When you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're confident while feeling insecure, your brain rejects this as false information. But there's a way to use affirmations that bypasses this resistance entirely, and it has everything to do with focusing on who you're becoming instead of who you currently are. Your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming during the transition between waking and sleeping. This is called the hypnagogic state, and it's when your critical mind relaxes and your deeper mind becomes open to suggestion. Instead of wasting this powerful window, you're going to use it to install a new identity that will guide your actions tomorrow and every day after. The seventh and final technique that's going to transform your entire life is called the Identity Affirmation Reset, and it's the most powerful method you'll learn out of all 7 strategies. You're going to end every night by stating 3 things about who you're becoming, using present tense language as if these qualities already exist within you. This programs your subconscious mind to align your actions with your evolving identity. Here's exactly how to program your subconscious for automatic success. You're going to identify 3 qualities that represent who you're growing into, not who you are right now. Maybe you're becoming someone who speaks up confidently in meetings. Maybe you're becoming someone who prioritizes their health every day. Maybe you're becoming someone who attracts abundance effortlessly. Then, right before sleep, you're going to state these as present reality. I am someone who speaks with confidence and clarity. I am someone who makes my health a priority. I am someone who attracts opportunities everywhere I go. Your sleeping mind will spend the entire night reinforcing these new identity patterns, and you'll wake up naturally inclined to act in ways that match who you're becoming. You now have 7 powerful techniques that will transform your nights from restless chaos into peaceful clarity. But more importantly, you have the tools to wake up tomorrow as a different person than you were today. The mental inventory dump will clear the clutter from your mind. The reverse worry technique will free you from anxiety. Tomorrow's victory visualization will program you for success. The mental filing cabinet method will organize your thoughts. The gratitude reframe challenge will rewire your brain for positivity. The energy audit practice will help you reclaim your power. And the identity affirmation reset will align your subconscious with who you're becoming. Remember, the goal isn't just better sleep, it's a better life. Each of these techniques works individually, but when you combine them into a complete night ritual, they create a synergy that will astound you. Your mind will become clearer, your days will become more purposeful, and your future will start unfolding in ways that seem almost magical. The only thing standing between you and this transformation is your willingness to try something different tonight. Your cluttered mind has been waiting for this solution, and now you finally have the key to unlock the peace and clarity you deserve.